Hi BookTube, it's Gina, and I'm here today to do a chatty, fun tag about reading habits. I was tagged by my friend Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot, and this is a tag that was originally created by Working Man Reads, and I will of course link both of their channels down below. This is the How Do You Find Time to Read tag, and if you know me at all, you know I love sitting around chatting with you guys about reading, about how I like to read, how I find time to read, what I like to read. So this tag is right up my alley. Now, I could have sworn I have done this tag. I am maybe just having a senior moment. I searched all my videos. I couldn't find it. So it sounds very familiar to me, but if I've done it before, I apologize for the duplication. We're going to talk about it again because, you know, your reading habits change over time. So there's no problem with talking about it some more. So this is just 6 questions about your reading habits, how you find time to read. And I think this is so interesting because I am a person that's got a fairly low maintenance lifestyle. I read, my goal usually on Goodreads is to read about 75 books a year. I range between a book a week, 52 and 75. And that's fairly effortless, I find. That's with not pushing myself much. With watching some television, with doing some other things, but I don't have a lot of other things going on. So most of my leisure time I would say is spent reading. So I do have a pretty good amount of time to read, but I always still feel like I could read more. And I've seen a lot of videos going around now about people who are struggling with comparing themselves to other booktubers or with other readers. And I think that's always a challenge. I read more than most people I know in my real life, but I don't read more than a lot of booktubers. I read probably a lot less than some, maybe more than some, but I think it's important to try not to compare yourself too much. I've also tried really hard to remove any guilty feelings about reading or remove shoulds and musts and have-tos from my reading vocabulary. I think that it's important to not judge yourself on how much you read. So that's just my my baseline where I'm gonna start the conversation about how do you find time to read on this tag. So question number 1 is, where is your favorite place to read? And my favorite place to read, honestly, is in bed. I love cuddling up with my Kindle at night in the dark and reading in bed. However, I find that this is sometimes limiting myself a little bit because when I'm in bed, I also like to read cozy, relaxing, not stressful books because I'm trying to wind down. And so that has been somewhat limiting to me I gotta figure out a way to branch out. So usually on the weekends, I sit down in my couch and read. But I'm trying to encourage myself to, before I go to bed at night and get involved with my Kindle and my comfort reads, to spend some time reading on the couch. So that's my second favorite place to read, on my couch with a blanket and a paper book rather than my Kindle. Also, one thing that I've missed a lot over the pandemic is sitting at a bar or sitting at a coffee shop and reading. My spouse and I used to love to go and sit at a bar, have a drink and some appetizers and read together. I used to go to a coffee shop a lot and just read and have a coffee. And I haven't quite gotten into the habit of doing that again. I think it's probably going to take me a little bit of time before I'm ready to do that. Maybe a lot of time. I don't know. I'm still kind of working that out. So I'm hoping someday I can get back to reading in public because I find that so enjoyable. But as of right now, I read at home, I read in bed, and I read sitting on my couch for the most part. Prompt number 2, do you read every day? And I pretty much do read every day. My bedtime routine is always to read at night. So I've rarely got an evening that goes by where I don't read in bed. I'm trying to, like I said before, integrate a little bit more non-bed reading into my everyday routine so that I can read a little bit more during the week rather than try and cram a lot of reading in on the weekends. Prompt number 3, do you read out loud to any family members? And no, I do not. I just read out loud to you guys every once in a while. Prompt number 4, your favorite career for a main character to have? Give an example of a book that has that job in it. And my favorite career, to be honest, is spinster. Is that a career? I love books with old ladies. I love my Miss Reed Thrush Green books. As you know, I love my Rosamund Pilcher books. These two, September and Winter Solstice, both have sort of old lady main characters. Are they retired? I think in Winter Solstice, she's a retired actress. But retired, that's a pretty good career to have. I also love the school teacher in the English Village careers, which is the Miss Reed Village series, the Fairacre series. And I love amateur detectives, so that can be a variety of careers, but I think the amateur detective books are one of my favorites. And of course, I love the librarian. I love all of the bookish careers. I just finished a middle grade book, which I'll talk about on Friday, and the main character was a librarian, and it was delightful. Of course, her house was full of books, and kids came into the library to check out books, and it was such a wonderful book. So I do love the librarian careers in books as well. Prompt number 5, do you read at work? And I hope nobody's watching right now, but I work from home, and so sometimes I do read during the day. If I have a break or a time when I don't have a ton of meetings, I will sometimes read for a little bit here and there during my workday. Not very often. I'm one of the few people that I know that actually goes to sit at my work desk, works all day. I don't sit in front of the TV with the laptop to work. I go sit at my desk and I work. But every once in a while I do sometimes read, especially if there's a project I'm working on. I read my Star Trek book this month a little bit during the day because I wanted to chunk that up a little bit. So sometimes I do read during the workday at home. And prompt number 5, tell me what book you are going to read today. And today I am going to make an effort to read Bleak House before I go to bed. I want to read my paper copy of that book sitting on my couch. Instead of finishing my day tonight with turning the TV on and watching Star Trek, I have finished Voyager, so I'm in between series for my sort of evening routine. So I think I'm gonna sit down and read instead. Pour a drink, read a little bit of Bleak House, getting a little bit of a jump start on Victober. So I started Bleak House so that I can kind of read my weekly chunk and stay on track without waiting until Friday to start it. So I'm cheating a smidge, but I think that's okay, right? It's our own reading habit. We can do whatever we want. And I got an ambitious TBR for October, so I think that just getting a little bit of a jump start on Bleak House will help me to finish up the book in a timely manner for Victober. So that was a lot of fun. I'm not going to tag anybody because I think this tag has gone around a little bit already, and I think a lot of people have already done it. I think maybe I've already done it. I just couldn't find my old video. So we got to talk about it again, which as always was quite delightful. And I will see you next time. Bye.